go. Welcome to the Cucumber New Contributors Ensemble. I'm Matt Wynn here in Nelson, BC in Canada. And I'm joined by Kate Dames in Cape Town, South Africa. And Blaise Pabon in Franklin, Massachusetts. So why are we here?
Well, in 2017, GitHub surveyed over 10,000 open source contributors. Just 3% of them are women. So we believe that open source communities will be more vibrant, resilient, and effective if they include everyone. Open source provides huge benefits to people who participate, and we want those benefits to be available to all. But people need a place to start. So we hold this space each week for anyone who is new to contributing to open source, especially for people from groups who have historically been underrepresented in open source communities. Our goal is to provide a fun and welcoming environment where everyone can learn to contribute to open source.
We use an ensemble programming format and we follow these principles. 1, safety over comfort. We aim for an environment where everybody can bring their whole self, even if it isn't always comfortable. 2, equity over efficiency. We're here to give space to people who have traditionally been excluded from open source, even if that means that we're going a little slower sometimes. And number 3, exploration over perfection. We're here to learn and always discover better ways to do things. We embrace experimentation and accept that what we do can never be perfect. If you'd like to join us, you'll be very welcome. You can reach us at CucumberBDD on Twitter. So let's jam.
Let's jam. All right, Blaise, did you get the link for the live share? I don't know if it's still available in the Zoom chat. If you joined the Zoom chat late, you might have missed it.
I joined it late.
So
missed it. Do you want to Slack it to me or Zoom is fine, yeah?
I'll just grab the link again. Does that get it? Copy collaboration link. And then Zoom. Where's my Zoom window? Chat. Dum, dum, dum. There you go, Blaise. I think.
Bingo. Okay, I'm on my way. Fabulous.
So I guess I haven't been here for about 5-6 weeks. I've got no idea what you guys been up to. So maybe we can recap.
We've taken 2 weeks off.
I saw a few notes about CI and all sorts.
Yes.
I don't know what.
So there is actually a pull request ongoing here for setting up CI. I think we could merge this in today, which means that we get this little check mark or red cross next to every commit as it goes into GitHub. I think it'd be helpful to have that. So maybe we could start with one of you two could grab this, could hit this squash and merge button so you can practice merging someone else's pull request, because I think that one's ready to go. And then the main thing we've been doing still is building out the OctaKit GitHub adapter. And I mean, we have always said, Kate, that we wanted to sort of like do better at planning, and I think sort of since you left, we had a couple of sessions where we just coded away really. And then, like Blaise says, we've been a bit sporadic last 3 weeks, I'd say. I was away 1 week and then nobody else was around last week. So I did a different thing with a guy called Sean from Nerdy Diva. It was a completely different thing on the thread. He's working on an inclusive tech glossary project. So we worked on that together last week. So we're back on this project, but we haven't really done that planning exercise at all, I would say. So we could spend some time this week doing that, if we choose to.
Well, think of the entire inactive contributor bot. How far are we? Like year? Because it wouldn't make sense to do a lot of planning if we only had like a few things to do, but if we still have a bunch to do, then maybe it could be worthwhile to do a plan.
Yeah. I think in terms of having the scenarios that we wrote out where it does this basic thing of moving someone from one team to the other if they have not contributed for a period of time, I think we're pretty close to having that working.
So
and
what
being
does
able to do
pretty
some manual
close mean?
testing. Well,
like one session? 5 sessions?
No, probably 3 sessions. It's difficult to estimate, isn't it? Depends how much, it depends what blockers we hit and kind of who shows up and how fast we go.
Yeah, then I'm just not sure whether it's valuable to do planning for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, actually, I wonder if we had, for example, like a list of or a feature file or a list of scenarios, if we ran like a cucumber report and it could show us how closely we were being done. If we had some.
The problem with that is
I like that idea.
We've been using this hexagonal architecture, which means that we've got the scenario passing, but using stubs. And what we're now working on is swapping the stubbed GitHub adapter for a real one, so that we can run it for real in a production environment.
Right.
And I don't know if we're ever going to be able to run Cucumber on that for real environment, because it's quite complicated, right, to integrate with GitHub. So we're sort of doing this extra piece of work that isn't kind of very visible in a Cucumber context that we just need to do.
Matt, just a question. Why is it so hard to do that? And aren't there a lot of people using GitHub? Wouldn't that be valuable for Cucumber to do something?
Yeah, well, yes, there are. But it's the same with any integration with a third-party system. You really want to have, when you're doing like your test automation, this is where we come back to kind of needing the diagram. And in fact, why don't I move to the diagram for a minute? Let me bring up the Miro board, because I can sketch this out again and while I'm talking, and it will probably help a little bit.
Yes.
So
a picture speaks 1,000 words.
So I'm moving to Miro. I'm opening Miro on the screen.
Yep.
I have to log in. I can't remember how I log in for.
I've got mine open. Oh, but you have to draw. Because if I can share my screen and then you can see it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd like to get logged back into Miro anyway. Let me just try and figure it out. I should only take a sec. Oh, goodness. Okay.
That's why I hate security, because it keeps you out rather than your account safe.
I can't remember who I logged in as to. Let's try this. I think this is not it. Maybe it'll let me in there.
I think it would be a Cucumber one.
No, this is like an old account. This is not the one.
Is there? It's called New Contributors Ensemble. Is there a way where I can see?
If you can get in and give me like public access to it, that would be great.
I guess I won't have access, but settings.
Can you see who it's shared with?
Account settings. No, account settings takes me to my user preferences. No, I don't have access.
I'm going to try this Office one. I think this might be the one. You don't have access either, Kate.
Yeah, there we go. You're in.
I'm in, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it asks me to log in. Other times it's like Miro is...
I thought we'd made this board. I thought we'd made this board public.
I am logged in, but then it still asks me to log in as a like type my name, and there's no option to actually log in. It's just like, what's your name? And previously you could choose, no, I am a person, I want to log in. Yeah. But I am there.
Okay, right. So I'm going to draw this now, and what I'm going to draw is here's our. Oh, that's a really thin pen. Let's go for something a bit thicker. Here is.
Do you have the board, Blaise? Or we
Blaise,
can't
you've
hear
gone
you.
mute.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I can see it. Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'm going to draw it like this. So this is our inactive contributor bot, and let's think about that it has this place in it where it needs to be able to talk to GitHub. Oh, I lost my little mouse pointer. Please come back. Please come back. Plug you in.
Let me do it.
Oh.
Wait.
I wonder if it's just
I like drawing. Hey,
yeah.
that's not what I
So-
want to do.
So if this is our system that we're building, the inactive contributor action, it needs to be able to talk to GitHub. So let's draw GitHub over here as another blob, right? And I can even label that. So this is GitHub. That's a bit of a small font. Let's get it a bit bigger so we can see it. And here's our. Oops, what is that? And let's make
A lot of
another text box here for the retire.
Didn't you already draw that? If you just lift
I
a
did,
little
but
bit
I want to do
the
this from
top?
scratch.
Okay.
So this is our system that we're building, and it needs a way to talk to GitHub. And in production, we're going to plug in a thing into here, right? So we're going to build a thing that's sort of got a plug like that can plug in there, right? That goes in there, that talks to GitHub, and it's got all these wires connecting it to GitHub so that it can check who's in what team and all of that stuff. But if we tried to test all of this together, right, we would have to, so we have a given step that says given user Aslak is on team X. We'd have to actually go into GitHub and put Aslak in a team, right? And that would involve a lot of work for us to do. It would be slow. There may even be some things that GitHub just won't let us do.
Yeah.
Right? Like we couldn't just create an organization on the fly, I don't think, through GitHub's API. I'm not sure. Maybe we could. But it would be, and our tests would end up being slow, and they'd be reliant on GitHub. So if we try and
And
run
you can only run it once.
Well, no, you could probably figure out ways that you can run it multiple times. So you could delete the organization at the end of the test run, or every time you created an organization, you'd give it a unique name so that you just like littered GitHub with lots of test organizations that you didn't really need, but you had to have them for your. So it's a good example of why it's a bad idea to draw your test boundary this wide. Because what if GitHub goes down? Right, or they change their APIs, maybe a thing you would want to know about. But if they were down for a bit, quite unlikely that GitHub goes down. It does happen from time to time. But imagine this is just like another team in your organization that publishes a service that has an API on it, right? You don't want your CI/CD pipeline to be broken just because that team is doing a deployment right now and their service isn't working. And also your tests are going to be more complicated to write because you've got to be able to do this interaction directly with their stuff just to set up your test data. And they're going to be slow because you're integrating through this whole system. So the solution to that we do, instead of drawing the test boundary this wide, is we draw the test boundary like this. Or even, imagine, sorry, let me do it again. We draw the test boundary like this. And what we do is we make another thing that can also plug into that same slot that is a fake, a test double. And it looks to the code that we care about. Like this is the interesting code that we care about and we want to develop that's got all our business logic in it and our important if statements. This is the interesting stuff. And so instead of setting up who's a test user on actual GitHub, putting Aslak in a team, removing Aslak from a team, whatever, we can just do it to this little fakey thing here, which, as far as our system under test is concerned, the system we're building, as far as like this bit of it where it plugs in is concerned, it looks exactly the same. The GitHub action doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that it's got a fake plugged into it. And so we have done this, and we have successfully got our tests running between here and here, and we've got a green light. And that's great. But what we now need to do is we need to build out this bit. So once we've got this bit, then we can actually plug it together. And really, I think pragmatically right now, because we will need to do some testing right around this whole level, is we'll do that testing manually. We can write some tests between here and here. We can do some tests, and that's kind of what we're going to do today, I hope. So we can test like this thing, that this thing is basically able to talk to GitHub. We can test these wires here, but we don't want to try and test it integrated with our whole other system as well, because that would just be a big headache. We want to try and, because this stuff, any time when you're integrating with an external system, it's complicated and messy and slow. So you want to try and like pare down how much code you're testing.
That makes sense. So do I understand correctly that the Cucumber tests will never run once it's live?
Oh yeah, we'll still run them, because what I'm hoping is that once we've built this thing here that can talk to GitHub and do the things we need to do with GitHub, the work that we'll be doing then to improve this thing and make it do other stuff is we'll just be we'll be modifying the logic in here that says, okay, well, this user hasn't contributed for over a year. I'm trying to think about what some of the extra, those like edge case scenarios were that we thought of. I think what we'll be able to do is enhance the business logic in here, and we can use Cucumber to drive out any changes we want to make to this bit. It's just if we need to get extra information from GitHub, then we'll have to drop down to like working in the adapters again. So that's where we are right now. We're working in the this is called ports and adapters architecture, because this is like a port, this bit here, and then we plug in different adapters, just like you plug in different adapters into your laptop, depending on what kind of a device you want to connect it to.
Okay.
All right.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I would love to keep working on the OctoKit, because what we have, this port here is defined as a
so looking at your little diagram,
yeah,
we have to write the tests for the adapters and the ports.
For the adapter, yeah.
And then?
Once we've implemented, so we can use tests to help us implement this adapter. Once we have an implementation of the adapter, then we can plug it all together and deploy it as a GitHub action and test it out and see if it works. We can create in fact, I have created a dummy organization in GitHub that we can use for playing around, so we're safe to do some exploratory testing in it, and we can try it out for real.
So our goals for today is to merge in the CI thing, correct?
Yes.
And then to write tests for the adapters.
Continue test driving the adapter.
Ports.
The OctoKit GitHub adapter. This is the one.
Okay.
So continue writing tests. I'm just going to say write tests. And then we need to deploy it. But we're probably not going to get there.
I don't think we're going to get there today. I would love that.
Okay.
I don't think we are.
So I've added the 2 goals.
Great.
I'm happy to take the first one.
Cool. All right. Do you want to take the screen share?
The second one into specific tasks.
Do you want to take the screen share so we can watch you do it?
I can.
Yeah.
Let me just find the right screens and share screen. Yes. I'm kicking you off. And I'm sharing. Can you see my screen?
Yes. I'm going to move your screen share to the... Where's my mouse pointer? To the to the stream.
So
And
I'm
you
just going to
locked-
say squash and merge.
Hold on. Let me show the.
I'm holding on. I'm just preparing.
Come on, Matt. There we go. Yes, you're on the stream. Go for it.
I'm very patient. Blaise, can you see? Or because, okay, cool. So I'm going to say squash and merge. Dish. And then I'm going to say confirm.
All right. So what we see
Do I
now.
need to write you a love letter or what?
No, it's done.
This
So
is
it's
it.
closed
Yes.
it's changed the color of the PR to this purple color, says it's merged. You can
Ah,
also
okay.
notice if you scroll down,
One.
it says it's deleted it says you deleted the setup
Setup
CI
CI.
branch. So this pull request was from a branch, and we have the GitHub repo configured to automatically delete the branch when the pull request is merged in. So what we should see now is that the main branch has got that stuff in it. If you just click on the title of the repo just above where it says action retire inactive, click on there. That'll take you back to the home thing, and we can see that it's now. So that's the commit that you just merged in at the top where it says Matwin create test workflow.
Oh, okay.
No, just above. It's showing the last commit there, and the orange light means that it is in the process of running the tests on it now. So you could click on that orange light, I think, and it shows us. You scroll down a bit. It's maybe it's finished, I guess. So it just hasn't updated. Maybe if you refresh your browser, you'll see the light go to green. Yeah, there we go. Great. So we need to pull that change. So if you look at the pull requests list now, there's this one pull request, build out the OctaKit GitHub adapter. So we've been working on this change in a pull request. So we're going to need to pull those changes back out into this branch. That's kind of
but you need to do that because you've got the.
Well, somebody needs to do it. Yeah, Blaise, you could do it, couldn't you? Because you can access my terminal. So should we switch to I'll screen share again?
So our first goal is complete.
Yes.
That's so cool. So quick.
So what so you're in my terminal, Blaise. You might want to switch to main and pull first, so we get the latest. Are you muted, Blaise? I haven't heard any noise from you for a while.
Yes, it's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know whether you're just being...
Oh yeah, there's a guy cutting grass outside. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be noisy or not.
I haven't noticed it. I haven't heard it.
Okay, perfect. So so I did a git pull on main.
Right, and then we need to go back into our number 6 branch. This one.
Okay.
So if you do git checkout 6 and then press tab, it'll probably finish it off for you.
Oh, that's a long.
Maybe 6 hyphen and then tab. There you go. And then now we need to merge in the main branch. Ooh, we've got a merge conflict. We keep seeing this when we pull in because there's a little bit of a change.
That's why we need that.
But that's okay. So what this was I think I changed in the main branch because we had this assert false, so it made a quick it made a failing test, but we wanted to see the CI be green, so I flipped it to being assert true just so that and put a to do in instead.
So we should take this out?
Well, yeah, I think we should just delete the bottom half, or you can click on. I don't know. Can you click on accept current change? Do you see that in your IDE, or is it just for me?
Up
here.
I don't think I see. No, I think it's in your.
Let me do that. There we go.
Yeah.
So now we need to add that change. So if you do git status, you know what to do, Blaise. Do you know what to do?
Yeah.
Don't you? Do you want to talk us through it though? What you're doing? So
Sure. Of course. So if I do, oops. So I'm basically just going to, this works great. So if I do a git status, it tells me, that what branch I'm on. It tells me if there's a conflict, and we've just fixed the conflict. So now I can do a git merge.
You're going to need to add
git commit.
You're going to need to add the
source
file that we fixed.
Now the abbreviated way of doing this is I can just hit a dot, but I'm just going to go ahead and spell it out to make it more explicit. Source octo. Okay. So now if I do a git status, it will show. Oh.
Great, yeah. So it's
you need to commit.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I just fixed the conflict. So the only thing that's new is this test.yaml.
Yeah.
So I should go ahead and do the commit. And I can say, put in a little merge message. I mean, a commit message. Do we want to say anything?
I think you can just use git commit. I think you just use git commit and it'll come up with a default message anyway for the merge.
Okay.
Like that. So you're now in Vim.
Oh. Okay.
So you need to.
So,
do you remember how to get out, how to save and exit
Please
Vim?
enter the commit message.
Is this a good message?
Yeah, this is fine.
You're the one with the words.
Oh, actually,
choose.
I have these really weird terminal. Okay.
Oh, is it confusing for you? I can't see what you can see. Sometimes the terminal comes out weird on other people's machines. Great.
Yes.
So we've now merged in.
Super weird on mine.
We've merged the commit into. We merged the pull request into main. We've merged that change from main back into our story branch. Now the last thing we need to do is push that change up to origin.
Main.
Yeah. And then what we should see, if I go back to the browser. Did I close it down? Is that the pull request is now building.
Yes.
So you can see that orange light now against the pull request.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And as our commit comes in. So in fact, it's a failing commit right now because we've got a failing test because we're in the middle of doing some work, right? So we need to start fixing some of this stuff. But that's okay. We know we're work in progress on it. But it's nice that we're getting that feedback from the CI now as well, so in case we missed anything that we weren't thinking about. Okay. So are you two happy for us to crack on with working on this?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, let's kill it.
Let's kill it.
I like finishing things.
So let's run Npm Test and see where we are, and then we can think about what's the next goal. You can see this has changed a bit maybe in your absence, Kate. It's now running a linter to tell us if there's any kind of like typos in the JavaScript. And there's a little bit of stuff here about variables that we defined but didn't use, but that's because we're still in the middle of some stuff. But then here we are where it says it gets members of a team. So this is this test here, and it's failing because we haven't set a GitHub token. So this is going to really try and integrate with GitHub, and we need to set a GitHub token. So we're running on my machine, so I can set one. I think I'm going to create one off screen here, and I'll set one up. I haven't done no. So what I can do is I can make an nvarc file where we can store this, but we'll get to that. So github.com. Actually, I'll show you on screen how you do it. So I'm going to go into my settings and then into my developer settings, and then I'm going to go into personal access tokens. And then
we don't want to see your tokens.
And then, well, it doesn't show you the tokens. It just shows you what they're called.
Okay.
You in fact, can never get hold of them again. All you can do is delete them.
Okay.
So now I'm going to go off screen because I'm going to hit that generate new token, and then we'll use that. Needs my password.
I don't think I've ever written an nvarc. Or is this what you use with .env?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Now I know. Okay.
So what I have to do here is I have to choose the scope of the token. So what are we going to need to be able to do? We're going to need to probably read things about repos. We don't need to do anything with GitHub Actions. We don't need to do anything with packages. We are going to probably need to be able to read things about an org and write things, because we need to be able to move users around. We don't need to do anything with public keys or hooks. We don't need to create gists. We are going to need user stuff, yes. We don't need to delete repos or write. We might want to write a discussion, because that might be how we'll want to notify the user, maybe. Admin, enterprise, don't need any of that. Don't need to do code spaces. Don't need to do projects, because that's like project plans. So I think that's good.
Where do you get the repo?
Huh?
Where do you get the repo?
How do you
Because
mean?
we need the repo, the date, and the user. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think that'll be in here, this stuff. We'll see. I mean, we can always create a new token, but let's try that one out. So I'm going to generate the token. Copy it. And then I'm going to make...
Have you seen, Kate, have you seen this use of tokens before?
Nope.
No, okay, so basically, normally you would connect the username and password. You can also create a token, which is essentially like a proxy or an alias for your username and password, so that you can automate a process and have it run without you manually typing in anything.
And so what I'm doing here, so this token is like a way of authenticating as me.
Yep.
With those rights.
Like in the old days with networks where you had a token in order to get. Yeah.
And I'm saving it in an nvarc file because I have a tool on my machine called direnv. So I should be able to do direnv allow dot, and it's now loaded in the GitHub token. But what I want to make sure is that this file, okay, cool, it's already ignoring it, so it's not going to add it to Git. I've just written that file locally on my machine. There, that file there. So that contains some that secret. So if we run the test again now, we should see something different happen.
5 problems, 0 errors.
All right. So we've had something totally different happen this time. Last time we got told we needed to set a GitHub token. This time
we've
got a response back. So we've
status 200. What does that mean?
Where did
It's good.
Where did we write this? Is this inside of getMembersOf?
200 is okay.
So we've just done the call, list members in org, and we've console logged the result, and then thrown an error saying the function's not implemented. So what we actually want to do is parse the result to return the names of the team members. So, oh, look at that. There we go. Data, login, Blaise P.
Yeah.
Fish cakes. I didn't even know we'd made it. So we made a team called Fish Cakes, have we?
Yeah.
Why fish cakes?
I don't know.
We're just playing with it, testing. Okay. So how are we gonna? So this is our next goal now is to take this result data which we've logged out here and we can see it, and what we want to do is actually return. Well, we haven't asserted exactly what we expect it to look like, but I think this is supposed to be an array of strings.
Yes.
Let's have a look.
And shouldn't we push all of this into the array?
Well, we need to just push Blaise P into the array, in fact. So we could even change our assertion to say assert members. Oh, I really want to get Hamjest. Do you mind if I install a nicer assertion framework?
Yeah.
Assert that members equal to Blaise P. That's what we should see, right? And I'm going to need to.
So is it just the one user in the project?
It is in that team as it stands right now, Kate. Yeah.
Right.
In
Fishcake.
Are we sure of that?
Well, so we've got a dependency here between this test, and this is kind of what I was trying to draw in that diagram, and this is why this is like a bit ugly and it's always a bit gnarly working on these adapters that work with external systems. We've got a coupling between this assertion in the test and the, if you like, almost physical setup of this this team. So we've hard coded the org here, right? That's going to have to change. In fact, we need to write that down as a to-do probably. We've got github.com, where are we? Inactive test, inactive contributor action. I'm just going to put this on the screen share. So I'm
creating a new issue.
We've made a team called Fish Cakes, right? And we've added Blaise to it as a member. But if I added somebody else to this as a member, there you are. You'll probably have to accept that invitation, Kate. If then we'll get this test will start to fail because now the test the coupling here between this test in our code and the setup. Too brittle. This is kind of a pragmatic compromise that we might have to make, because I don't really want to have to spend the time figuring out how to automate creating some members of a team just to automate this test. Not right now. I think I'm okay with we'll set it up manually, we won't touch it, it'll just be like a hard coded fixture that exists out there on GitHub, and we'll just work with it. That's okay with me.
Yes.
I'm going to just install the Hamjest library so that hopefully the test should now compile, or I'll be able to install this. Could not find name assert that. So why can't you find that from Hamjest? What is wrong with you? Do you want to accept that invitation, Kate, and then we can add you as a second piece of test data?
Where is that? Oh, is it in my mail?
Probably be in your email, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I am wondering, shouldn't you import something in order to make that work? Okay, I accepted something.
Okay, well, let's run the test and see what we get. I guess we're not going to get. We still need to implement the guts of the method, don't we? So we're not gonna get the answer we wanted back anyway right now. But when it logs it, we'll see if it's got you in there as well, Kate. So yeah, look. So now we've got Blaise P and Funficient.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna change the test to be Funficient. I guess it'd be better if it was like include. We don't really care about what order they're in, do we?
No.
But maybe it's not a big deal. Let's maybe not worry about that right now.
Yes, I don't think it's a big deal because we will probably have to go through everything in any case.
So how about I just hands off now, and you two try and figure out how to make this test pass? Does that sound like fun?
Sure. All right. Let's give it a go. So let's see. So this is
I
the
would
test online
think that we need to put these members into the array first.
Well, we can actually parse it. I mean, so the result, in other words, the getMembersOf, that's actually going to right. So where it says, so result, the word result is in fact that whole big thing that we're seeing down below.
Yeah, that variable result contains this whole payload of thing that has a status and a data.
So it's already saying it, okay?
So we can basically say if something is in result, then we're good. So we could say something like assert.
Well, we don't want to do assertions in here. What we want to do in here, because we've got a test that's saying when I call the getMembersOf function, it should return an array that just contains Blaise P and Funficient. So it should be looking at the data and getting the logins off the things in the data. That's what we need to do.
So basically,
the error message at this stage says if you don't have that, then you throw an error. That error should change, shouldn't it?
I don't think we should get an error at all now, Kate. Because right now it says function not implemented.
What if there's nobody? We're assuming that there's a result. What if there's no result?
Well, that would be a different test case. So we could have another one where we did like, instead of getting members of fish cakes, we could get members of empty team, and we could make an empty team and test that has empty members.
Okay, I would have just done it like a if there's results.
Well,
okay, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The result is actually quite a bit of data. The result is a record that has lots of fields. And the name of the field, we want to look at the field called login.
So I'll show you how we can make the test pass, right? You could just do, or kind of pass, or pass in a different way. We could just do that. Fail in a different way. So instead of saying function not implemented now as the error, it's going to say, what's it going to say?
Well, it shouldn't actually say anything. It should just give you the results.
So it says assertion error. Expected Blaise P Funficient, but was Matt Win.
But there was also
So what we need to do is do this to do here. We need to parse the result and return the names of the team members.
Yeah. So returning the names of the team members would basically be the list of all of the fields called login in that result.
So should we not just push into our array
login
only the variables that we want?
That sounds good to me, Kate.
Yeah.
Who's going to drive and who's going to navigate here?
Okay. I guess I'll navigate. I don't know. I'd rather drive, but I don't know.
Okay, so we are function not implemented. Let me just refresh. And I've got following.
You left the collaboration session. Are you coming back in?
I hope so. This is the first time that I'm doing this call with this new internet, so I don't know how good it is. Seems
You want me to
it's not
drive
that
then?
good.
I can drive since
No, I'm back in.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so we'll
focus participants.
yeah.
I am.
So come on into the scroll down a bit, Kate, to the getMembersOf function. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay,
so line 25.
here
Yeah.
And really,
we
it's line
want to-
27 we need to do something.
27, yes. Do we have to do a while loop?
No. Because we would have gotten, so essentially we have this thing called result, and we want to extract the items called login from the result. I think that's right. So we can say something like members equals whatever result.login. I don't recall offhand how to refer to the elements of
Something like this, but I don't know what the...
It wouldn't be push, I don't think. Return, I think, is what you're thinking. Return is the result of it.
Here, we're getting it. We're getting the members. Now, we want to put it into the list of team members. Okay, you go. Tell me what I must do.
So we want to we want to create a small array, and we could call that array something like members, or
I think members is a good name.
Yeah, members, and then we want to make that equal to the value of it's going to be in result. I'm guessing that there's probably a property called something like result dot.
If we look at it, I think it's
data.
It's data, yeah, the first property, because this is the object here, starting here. It's
right.
Status URL headers, which is this big object, and then data. And so data is an array containing each of the members.
Data is an array, and the property of the member that we want is the property called login. Right. So
don't we want a few things? Do we only want login, or do we want ID?
No, we only want the login.
Yeah, because the login is the ID. I think is a big number that I don't think we're using right now. So now, is that a data.login? Is that, or do you have to put quotes around it?
I think what you need to do is map call the map function on data, so you can iterate over all of the items in the array and turn it into the login.
Okay. So so basically it would be data, and then is map a function that takes data as the argument?
Map is a function.
Yeah.
So map is a function that takes a function.
Okay.
And the function will be called for every item in the array.
I see. Okay.
So the argument to the function would be I guess a user, and then you could ask for the user's login, so that'll transform the whole object into just the value of the login.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then what we want to do is, so we've got our result.data, and then result.data map, and then that's going. So yeah, I don't think we need that part just yet. So then inside map, we want to give it a. We're essentially saying this is a function. In other words, the map is going to take what we put in there, and it's going to apply it to the whole data block of the result. So it would be something like it would be basically do we have to say like the string of so login, we want login is the first item of that dictionary. Would we refer to it as simply say login?
So what you're going to do in map, you're gonna pass in a function that can turn one of these objects into this string.
Into that string.
So it's going to be past the whole thing here, which is like a GitHub user or whatever. Yeah. So you could just pass it a thing called convert-kate. That would totally work, and then we'll have to declare what convert is up above. Yeah, you could totally do it like that. Don't call the function, just pass the function.
Okay.
So get rid of all the other stuff. Get rid of the brackets that are calling convert. Yeah, that's it. And then don't forget, when we're setting members at the beginning, you need to say const members equals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so we need to declare what convert is. So on the line above, do you mind if I try navigating for a bit, Blaise, just to get us going?
Sure. No, please do. Yeah.
So if here you do const convert equals, and convert is going to be a function, so it's going to go from let's say user. No, you don't need to do function. We can just declare it like with an arrow function. So let's say user, and then like draw the arrow thing with the equals and the.
Yeah, you had earlier. The
that's it. Yeah, and you're going to go user.login. User.login.
User.login.
Yeah. Now, what's tricky here is we don't have data types. No, that's it. That was it. That's all you need to do. So you just user goes to user.login.
Yeah.
No brackets. No. Press save. Does it clean up the? He's complaining about some stuff. Yeah, he just wants to prettify it. Does it work for you if you press save?
I did press save.
Let me do it.
Oh, it doesn't like the parentheses.
Okay. So now it doesn't like that we haven't declared what type user is.
Oh, I see.
Which is a bit annoying. No, it's not that, Kate. Well, all right, so I think it might be better to inline the convert function. So just basically put all of this text in here where we've said the word convert, and I think it'll probably infer the types. Let's try that.
Oh.
No, you don't even need to say convert equals. Just delete convert. Just get rid of it altogether. Yeah. So let's save that to fix the formatting. There we go. It's happy. The only thing that's unhappy about now is that we've got members is declared but never read. So where do we need to use members?
Oh, down after in line 29. Right? We would want to return members.
Yeah. So instead of that hard-coded mat-win, we want to return the members.
And we don't even need the brackets. We can just say return members.
It needs to be what?
Oh, members.
Shouldn't it be like that?
Okay. It was a spelling mistake. Yeah, members. Plural. Okay.
Yeah, this is very distracting because the problems keep. Let me just go to terminal.
If I save it, there we go.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Now it's happy. So I'd love to see what happens when we run the test now.
So if we go to terminal, down below, and yeah, exactly. Oh, this is great.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
So now it's going to try and run the cucumber tests as well.
That's okay. I mean, well,
which
yeah.
we can kind of ignore for now because we know there's a bunch of stuff that's not done there. But we've made this unit test pass, folks. Well done.
That's really great. That's really
Yay!
huge. Yeah, yeah.
So we can
So
get rid of
can
this
I
to do because
remove
that's not true anymore.
this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me rather copy it because that would be our commit message, wouldn't it?
Could be, Kate. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be. I think we should also get rid of the console log on line 26 because we don't need that anymore. And I don't know what other people think, but I wonder whether we could just get rid of the members variable and just do a straight return on line 27.
Return result.data. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, line 27, you can take out const on line 27.
Can I?
Yeah, you can put the word return. Put the word return instead of const. And then delete members. And delete the equals. And then you can delete 929 altogether.
Lovely. And if I save it, that should tidy up the indentation.
Yes.
Should we run the test to make sure, or should we
Never
just
bad.
commit?
I would always run the tests. Always.
You only
Because
live
Matt
once.
said so. I'm a fast learner. One passing test, yay.
Beautiful.
That's
Should we
really-
commit?
Yes, I would like to commit.
Really something. Yeah.
So I don't think I can commit from here,
No?
can I?
Sure. why not? No?
You can commit through the terminal, but we'll lose the... We get, if I do it from here... Oh, you pasted that message from the to-do though, didn't
But
you,
I
Kate?
can paste that in
Sure.
the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
I usually use desktop version. It's so much easier. You just press a
Yeah.
button, commit, and then
Pass
it asks
the
you.
result of calling list members in org to return the names of the team members. And so what we've got all in here is the changes to package JSON where I added hamjest, which we did to change the test a little bit. The changes to the, I guess it's compiling and putting those into the disk. That's fine, really. It doesn't really need to compile the test files, but we can ignore that for now. I don't know what npm list.json is. Never heard of that before. What's that?
Mocha.
I wonder if that's a new thing.
What's Mocha?
What was
Mocha?
our test
Oh,
tool? Never heard of npm list.json before. I don't know what that's doing, but I'm not too bothered. So we're going to add Blaise and Kate. Okay, and we're going to do commit.
yes.
And then Kate, you can type git push if you want on the command line, and then that'll push it up.
But not on Zoom. It doesn't work.
Yeah, you can type it in the terminal. No, not in the
Yes,
Zoom
I
screen
tried
share
on-
window.
It's
That
like
must be
not
really
working.
confusing.
Done.
Okay, great. Well, so one thing I notice is that we've hard coded the team here, and I think we at least need a to-do about that.
Mm.
I already added a probably very wrong issue, but if you go to the issues, I added remove hard coding for repo. Should
Oh,
I?
cool. Yeah. I mean, so, right. So in terms of project planning, I always have to go at it with its old name because that's what my... we have like two levels that we can do. So we can we can create new issues. What we can also do is within the pull request, we can write like a checklist. So we've got this checklist here that says, I'm going to do the code of conduct. I've changed the behavior of the code and I've added tests. We are doing that. But what we can also do is we can add other stuff here. So we can say about what else we've got to do. So we can kind of move the to-dos from the level of the code out into the pull request if we want. And surface them up here. So I don't think we need to do anything about the change log right now, and I don't think we need to do anything about the documentation. But so that would be another alternative for how we could manage the list of work that remains. And I think in terms of where I would use the distinction is I would use issues for things that we can defer, that we don't need to do within the scope of this pull request. And then I would use the checklist for things that we do need to do in order for the pull request to be done.
Yep. That sounds fabulous.
So it's sort of like almost like separate user stories, right?
Yeah.
Or you can just delete the top one. That's also fine.
So what's the context for this though? The remove hard coding for repo. So like, where is it that the repo's hard coded, Kate? Did you mean this one here, the org?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just made a note so that we don't forget.
Yeah.
Sure. We could edit
But it would
that
probably
to say,
make sense to add a to-do in the code, rather.
We could add a to-do in the code. We could also just do it. We could think about where we want to specify the org. I mean, it strikes me that we probably should know about the org when we create the adapter, like when the action fires up, it should know which org it's operating on. So we probably ought to like pass it in as a constructor parameter when we create this whole app, because we're only going to ever work on one org at a time.
Right.
So we could just do it like that.
Is that true though? Isn't it? We would be looping through orgs, presumably, right?
No, I think we're always going to use it. Like Cucumber is going to use this GitHub action on itself.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. I'm confusing org and repo. Yes. I'm confusing org and repo. Never mind. There's only one org. Right.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna need this over and over again in all of these. Like if we're adding users to a team, we need to know which org they're in. If we're getting removing users from the team, we're going to need to know which org we're doing that team is on. So I think we should probably pass the team in the constructor. So we could do that right now. We could just make that change, or we could write it to do. What do you two want to do? I suppose it is kind of retro time, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess we do what you do, and maybe implement it later. It is kind of retro time.
Kate, what's your thoughts?
I'm not sure. I'll go with what you guys want.
I mean, I guess
I don't mind.
We won't take that
I can
one.
stay a little bit longer.
I want to do it.
Let's do it, yeah. And then we have a nice clean
Let's do it.
constructor.
Do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whose turn?
So now you are the
Who's talking?
I can
driver
drive.
of that
I'll
base.
drive. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I like driving.
Do you want to navigate for this, Kate?
Don't
Do
we
you
all?
have a handle on what to do?
Do what Matt said.
Okay.
Well, Blaise, can you start from the test? Can you start from the
from the
test? So
test,
let's,
okay.
let's write the code we wish we had. So let's take line 23, where we've got this string, and copy that string, because that's going to be like something we're going to need. And let's pass it in on the constructor when we construct it in the test, and then let's see what goes wrong.
In the test.
So I'm not following you. Follow Blaise.
Yeah, follow me.
There we go. Yeah. So when we create the GitHub adapter there on line 14, why don't we pass the org as a second argument there?
Yes.
Right. And now it's failing because, or we've got this red underline because that, well, actually it's because of formatting, but it's now failing because it expected one argument to the constructor, but it got two. So let's fix that by going into the constructor of the Octokit GitHub and making it take a second argument. So a really nice thing here with TypeScript is, you see how you do this private read only? You can just, it declares a field on the class when you do that. So if you add a second argument, if you get right to, yeah, that's it. And you can say private read only, what should we call it? Org. And then colon string, because it's going to be a string. Perfect. You need a comma.
Oh, comma, okay.
Yeah. All right, and then I'll save that and reformat it so Pretty is happy. Great. So now we should have an org. And the test is happy and compiling. So all we need to do now is, if we go back to the implementation and scroll down to where we hard coded it, if we take out on line 26, we can say this.org instead of. No, you still need to say org colon. And then the value of it on the right hand side instead of that hard coded string is this.org. Beautiful.
Wow.
Okay, and then we run the test to make sure it's still passing.
What's really exciting for me about this, as someone who has suffered from ADHD for my whole life,
is still green.
Is the sense of progress. I don't feel like I'm going around in circles.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I love about TDD.
Yeah,
is
going around in circles is a little bit boring.
It's you're always moving forwards, and you can it's very satisfying.
So if this passes, should I do a commit?
I think so.
I'm going to do a git status just because it's maybe helpful for the audience to see that we're on our feature branch. And we have these two guys, which are not staged. So we want to add them. And since we're in a hurry, I'm just going to do a git add dot. And just to demonstrate that's done what I expected it to. Now these things will be committed. They're in green. And so now I can just say git commit.
Well, I want to put you two in the commit though. So can I type in the message here?
Yeah. Why don't you? Well, I'll just do if you commit, and then you can type the. Right?
No, I think these two fight over each other, so I think I'll need to type the commit message into the box in VS Code if we're going to get the co-authored by bits.
Then so you go ahead and.
What do you want to call? What do we want to say? Talk to me, folks. What do we want to say?
Sure.
What would we have written in it to do? Well, remove hard coded.
Remove hard coding from org.
Good. You want to git push it, Blaise?
Yeah.
Oh!
You do
hang on. Right, watch this. Watch this.
Wait.
Git commit amend.
Oh yeah, that's sweet. Yeah,
right.
That's great.
Closes number. What was the name of the ticket that you? Number 16.
Yeah. You didn't. I don't think you wanted to get rid of those two lines though.
Which two lines?
The ones that had our names on them.
No, they're still there.
They're still there?
Yeah.
Further up? Okay.
Yeah, I think you maybe just can't see the. So yeah, watch this, Kate. When we do git push.
Now that's.
I might need to refresh.
Yeah, git commit.
Being able to tick something off a list is just the most satisfying thing ever, because that shows.
Oh. It should have closed it. Why didn't it do that?
Maybe we need to say.
Does it need to wait until the test passes? Maybe. Or is it because it's not been merged into main? I've never seen that before. Maybe it's because we're doing it on a branch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Maybe.
annoying. But normally,
Because I didn't open it properly.
yeah, I think it's maybe because we didn't merge it into.
Well,
we
should we
haven't
do the
merged
PR?
that commit into main. I think is probably why it's not done it. But normally, if you write the words
Failed.
fix closes da 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 or fixes da da da, then it'll close that issue for you automatically.
What didn't it like?
I think it's because it's not merged into main yet. Are you asking why did it go red?
Yeah.
Because there are some other things that
Yes.
are not working. So if we look, we've got a TypeScript compilation error in this source index TS.
That's weird. Okay.
It's not weird. I'm aware of this. Like,
Okay.
if we run, but this is just other stuff we need to do. Like, zoom out a bit. Npm run build.
Can I not just press the close button
Close.
in GitHub?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like-
for that issue. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good call. Yeah, so the reason that we've got this TypeScript compilation error, we can get back to this later, is that the actual source index TS file, which is the actual place this is going to run when we deploy it to GitHub as an actual GitHub action, is lagging behind the way we're using the thing in the tests. So we haven't actually. So you know how in the test here we've created our instance of OctaKit GitHub, and we've passed it an instance of OctaKit with a token, and we also now we're passing it the name of the org. If we look at this file, this is just creating one with nothing. So it needs this thing. When we get to doing manual testing, it'll need to grow up. So it's going to need to do similar stuff to what the test does, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. Okay. Should we do retro?
Yeah. Okay.
Why is there still changes in here? Oh, that's JavaScript files. That doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, Kate, we got a bit sloppy about doing retros while you were absent, I have to say.
We yeah. We did one with I did one with
Mayu.
Mario. Yeah.
Well, the
Looks
key
like David
is to
Shrigley,
just
this,
keep
isn't it?
going and make
Yeah.
small changes.
Yes.
Then you don't ever sit with big changes. So we've got a memory bank open. Did you get the link, Blaise? I posted it in the
Thank you. Got it. Yep.
chat. Run npm run build to check compile JavaScript before commit. Is that still something that we need to remember and do? We didn't do it today.
No, we didn't do it today. I can't remember if we put it into the main job with the CI. I think it runs automatically when we run npm test.
Yes, I would think so. That's the purpose of the CI, I guess. Should we put it as an action to check for next time, or should we
I'm
just
going to
close
just
it
very
and
quickly check
remove it
right
from the
now.
memory bank?
I'm going to very quickly check right now because it should be quite straightforward to find out. Test lint, test unit, test acceptance. No, it doesn't run build. So I think.
So
that's
should we
the thing
add it
need
to do
fix.
for next
Yeah.
week?
I think a next action is let's drag that into. Whoa! Let's
What
drag
am
that
I
into
doing?
as an action. Run npm run build as part of npm test. I think. Is the
Why
thing to
can't?
say.
Oh, you also doing it. That's why I can't. Yes.
Yeah, I can take that action if you want.
Cool.
Get that bit of housekeeping out
The
of
be
the way.
intentional about rotating, I think we can still keep there.
Yeah.
But we are pretty good at it, I think. The intro checklist to make it shorter, do you still want to keep that, or can we
Do you know what I
delete
love?
that?
What I want to keep, which I mean, we haven't talked about our how it went today, but I really liked how we read little bits of it each. I thought it flowed
Yeah,
lovely.
it's fun.
Yes.
That's like the best way we've done it yet.
Haven't we done it like that?
Not quite. We've alternated, but that medley approach, I don't think we've done the medley.
So how about we get rid of edit the checklist to make it shorter as a memory bank thing? Like I think
We can always add it later on, but I mean, keeping it here means we need to action something.
I don't think
So
there is
I'd
an
rather
action
delete
here.
it if we don't, if we're not going to do anything right now.
Right.
Personally, I'd support that.
Okay. The next one was use GitHub issues projects. We are doing that. So can I remove that?
Yeah, unless we need a reminder to do that.
Do we? Because we've got the current issue.
Yeah.
Should we keep it there for the moment? Matt?
I don't mind. I don't
Okay.
mind. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what you want to use the memory bank
It's
for. Okay, it's gone.
It's gone. I
And
can
I-
undo.
And I
But
did set
the
up the
point
automated
is-
Slack reminder.
The less things that are here, the more will get done.
Okay.
Set up CI, wasn't that done as well?
Yes.
And write an issue about promising. I'm pretty sure that's what we were working on, wasn't it?
No. There's another whole problem. There's a to-do about it, and there is also an issue. That has been done. We have written up the issue. So there's a piece of asynchronous work that somebody could do, which nobody's got around to. That is going to speed us up.
So does that mean write an issue about promisifying is there?
It's
Should
done.
we delete it?
Yeah, the issue is
So
done.
I can delete it.
Yep.
Yay, I like deleting stuff. The architecture diagram, we pretty much also kind of like, do we still need to do something there, or can we leave this?
I would like to just drop it because we never seem to get around to it. I just drew another one, didn't I? A David Shrigley style one.
And the sequence diagram,
Oh, I've been meaning to do that. I kind of think keep would be a good idea. I don't know. Yeah.
just do it, Blaise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got a clean memory bank in actions. So first of all, what do we appreciate about this session? And maybe if everybody just wants to write it on stickies
Okay.
for the next 3 minutes maximum.
Okay.
Do we have more, or let me quickly go through it?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the rotating of the reading of the script was really good.
Yeah, agreed.
And it was really nice to see the commits and the passing test. It really felt as if we did quite a bit actually today, even though we didn't do a lot, but it felt like a lot. So that was really good.
We only had an hour.
Then,
I think we got lots done in an hour.
Yeah, we did.
because we also merged the CI and got that up and running, so that was really good. And then we are actually being good about the rotating, which is good because we don't use the timer, and we did the goals. Although I didn't tick off the goal, the right test for. Did we complete the goal? Right test for the OctoKit adapters.
We wrote one.
So we didn't really complete it, but
well, I mean, we could be
something.
explicit about the fact that if you look at my screen share, there are there's 1, 2, 3 methods that need to be implemented, and 4 is done. So we're like 25% of the way there, assuming that all of these are equally hard.
Okay. That's good. But I actually really like setting up the goals beforehand and doing a little bit of planning, not a lot, like not planning the entire project, but just planning enough for what to do today. That to me works.
Yeah, I
And
appreciated
then-
how you did that as well, Kate. Today you were kind of you managed to sort of summarize the discussion that we had at the beginning of the session and say, right, so these are our goals, is that right? And you kind of fed that back, and that was really nice to kind of clarify that. Yeah.
It helps me as well to know just what's next and what to expect, and are we getting there? Otherwise it feels as if it's just in this big wide open ocean and you don't know if you're up or down, or so I like that. I would like to keep doing that. And then being back after a really long time, it's good to see you guys again.
Yeah. Same here.
So that's me. Who wants to go next? Matt, yours is logically after mine, so do you want to go next?
Okay, yeah, I just really appreciate, Kate, how you are so willing to just dive in and type, even though you haven't had much practice with writing TypeScript before. It's just like a real kind of manifestation of that value of just trying stuff and listening to feedback and experimenting.
I love
just
learning.
like seeing it. Yeah.
I'm just glad that I can.
And then similarly, well, yeah, but for you, Blaise, I just like how I noticed how confident you are with Git, and it's really good to have that, because I think that Git is it's a sort of underestimated skill to have working in open source, because there's actually quite a lot of juggling of branches and and remotes to push to your fork and all of that sort of thing, and it's pretty complicated. And so I like that you're modeling the confidence with it, and you're able to sort of to lead us through when that stuff needs doing.
Yeah, there are not very many things that I feel like I'm really on top of, but Git and restructured text, yeah, I'm deadly there.
Good to know.
It hasn't been easy, and it's not easy, and I think it's more difficult than it needs to be. I'm a big fan of making it easy to learn for people. So if you ever have any questions about Git, but yeah, it's the new literacy. It's what is going to, in the future, there will be the people who will know how to interact with source code through Git, and then everybody else will just have to stand in line and wait to get their letters typed. But wait for the scribe.
So did you have your one you wanted to share, Blaise? Is it this one?
Yes. I mean, the structure, the feedback loop of having the test especially at this point in my life when I've got so many different projects going on, it's so easy for me to get lost. It's so nice to be able to just go back and say, oh yeah, this is where I left off, and this is the very next thing to do, and then to see it. I recently discovered this thing called Zool, which uses a code review tool called Garrett, which is maybe more well known. But it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. Because basically, instead of having branches, you just only ever have one main branch, and it's always green. And you do all of your reviewing and your testing before things are merged into main. So essentially, if you do something that might break, then it won't. You essentially work off to the side until it passes. And so you're only ever making.
What's the tool called?
It's called Garrett Code Review, and it was developed by Google because apparently they write a lot of software, and so it helps them.
They start writing a lot of software.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also used in conjunction with a CI tool called Zool, Zuul, and Zool is the gatekeeper. Zool is what decides whether or not things get merged.
Is Zool the gatekeeper in Ghostbusters?
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's why. Yeah. Yeah.
Another one of those movies from the 80s with Bill Murray being basically abusive towards a woman that we probably didn't notice at the time, but now when you watch it back with your kids, you wince.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched Groundhog Day with my kids the other week and just like,
oh
no, I thought that was a good movie, but it's really not.
I haven't seen it in ages, like 30 years or something.
It's a really good movie for the message, because I think that's how life is. You keep running into the same issues until you change. You can't expect the outside to change.
That's true. That's true.
It's like you constantly get feedback like, no, you didn't get it right. No, try again. No, it's true. Better, but it's not quite right. Try again. And that's literally how life is, I think. So that's why it's a good movie, but it doesn't feel very good watching it.
So do we want to do puzzles as well this week, or are we out of time?
Do we want to? Are there anything like one thing that you are thinking about, like puzzles, or can we maybe just add, do we need to do any actions for next week?
I'd love to do the sequence diagram, and because I think it might be helpful for people who don't have the overall context. It's kind of a mysterious. I mean, GitHub Actions, I think, are mysterious to a lot of people because they tend to happen behind the scenes. So,
well, if you get time, Blaise, I think it'd be brilliant. I'll volunteer to do this thing of making sure we run npm build as part of running the tests, and I will also do the promisifying thing, because we deferred that as a separate task. This thing number 14, and nobody's had a chance to do it, and it's just kind of a chore. So I'll get it done and then it gets out of our way.
And then I just want to add one that will remind us next week to set the goals again at the start of the session.
Oh, right on.
Did you put them into the mob timer thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Great.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the mob timer on the screen because I've got out of the habit of looking at it because we're not actually using it as a timer, but it's still really helpful for rotating and tracking the goals, isn't it?
The goals is actually the only thing that we are tracking at the moment, but I do find it helpful just to write it down.
Yeah.
So is there anything else, or can we say good night or good afternoon or good morning?
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thanks, both of you.
It was good to see you guys again.
Yeah. See you next week, hopefully.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.